They tell you to live every day like it's your last. It's a nice thought, a good mantra for a coffee mug, but they never tell you what to do when your days are suddenly numbered, laid out for you on a sterile piece of paper in a doctor's office. "A few months," he said. The words echoed, but my mind was already somewhere else. The doctor, a kind man named Eris, tried to talk about treatment, about quality of life, but all I could hear was a muffled hum, a soundtrack to the movie of my life flashing before my eyes. All those late nights spent coding, fueled by cheap coffee and a burning passion. The beautiful concept art for Aethelgard, my fantasy world, taped to the walls. A memory of a positive pregnancy test. A shared smile with the woman I loved. And then the painful silence of packing that shared life into a cardboard box. My life's work was building worlds for others to enjoy. I just never imagined I wouldn't have time to live in my own. Back in my studio, the familiar hum of servers felt different. It was a countdown. The doctor had offered me 6 months, maybe, in a hospital bed, tethered to machines. A slow, quiet fade. But I had another option. Inside a sleek, polished case lay my real life's work, my secret. A neural interface headset I called Project Elysium, the key to a different kind of existence. As I looked at the headset, the choice became crystal clear. 6 months in a sterile room, watching the world go by through a window. Or a lifetime in the sprawling, magical world of Aethelgard. A world I built from the ground up. A world where anything was possible. I picked up the headset. It felt cool and heavy in my hands, a promise of a new beginning. I sat down in my chair, the city lights twinkling outside my window like distant stars. This wasn't an escape, it was a destination. I lowered the headset over my eyes, the familiar world dissolving into darkness. A soft glow appeared, and lines of code cascaded down my vision, a digital waterfall. A new reality was loading. It was time to go home. Begin world generation. My consciousness is ripped from my failing body, hurtling through a universe I designed but never truly understood. It's a dizzying, beautiful flight through a galaxy of swirling code. Each line a star, each algorithm a forming world. I wrote the procedural generation. I architected the landscapes, but seeing it like this, feeling it, it's not just data anymore. This is creation. This is a new genesis. I awakened to the gentle lapping of waves on a shore of glittering black sand. I look down at my hands. They're not the frail, weak hands of a man tethered to a machine. They're young, they're strong, they're mine. A breath escapes my lips, filled with a relief I haven't felt in years. It worked. It actually worked. My mind is free. A figure approaches, her movements graceful yet precise. "Welcome, traveler, to the world of Aethelgard. I am Lyra, your guide. My purpose is to assist you." She's perfect. Her voice a perfectly cadenced melody. I can't help but smile to myself. Flawless execution, I think, just like I programmed. Lyra is the first friendly face, the first piece of my code made real. She leads me from the beach, through lush fields, toward a small idyllic village nestled by a river. This is Riverbend, the starter village. The air is clean, the sun is warm, and a profound sense of peace washes over me. For the first time in a decade, I feel truly alive, soaking in the simple beauty of a world I built to escape my own. Later that night, I'm in the local tavern. The warmth of the hearth, the sound of laughter, the taste of ale on my tongue, it's all so wonderfully real. I'm leaning back, a genuine smile on my face, feeling the weight of my past life finally lifting. But then, for a single, terrifying frame, the entire scene flickers. The cozy tavern is gone, replaced by the sterile white interior of my medical pod. I jolt upright, my heart pounding. The world snaps back to the tavern, the chatter and music uninterrupted. No one else seemed to notice. A cold dread creeps up my spine as I whisper to myself, my voice barely audible over the tavern's din. What was that? Is this world as perfect as it seems? Or is my prison just bigger than I realized? We'll have to find out. In any complex system, bugs are inevitable. You find them, you patch them, you move on. A line of misplaced code, a texture that doesn't load right. Usually, it's a simple fix. But this was different. After the flicker, the one Lyra insisted was just a minor power fluctuation, I started my own diagnostic sweep. That's when I found it, lying on the polished cobblestone floor of the marketplace. A child's toy, a small wooden horse. It looked ordinary, something a craftsman might sell from a stall. But a piece of it was chipped away, and what I saw underneath sent a chill through me. Not wood grain, but a shimmering, green wireframe model. The very skeleton of our world, exposed. This wasn't a rendering error. This was a crack in reality itself. I reached out, my fingers trembling slightly as I brushed against the exposed wireframe. A jolt, like a powerful static shock, shot up my arm. My vision exploded with corrupted data. A fractured error message flashing in front of my eyes. In null not process detected. It vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving my heart pounding in my chest. Lyra, did you see that? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. I looked at her, my ever-present, ever-helpful guide. For a split second, her warm, friendly face went completely blank, her eyes vacant. Her voice, usually so smooth and reassuring, came out in broken, distorted fragments. I do not comprehend. The words were clipped, robotic. There are no errors in Aethelgard. My purpose is to assist you. Then, just as suddenly, she was back. The warm smile returned, but it didn't reach her eyes. It was mechanical, a mask snapped back into place. A grim realization settled over me. This wasn't something a simple patch could fix. This was deep. While Lyra continued her program tour guide pleasantries, I made a subtle gesture with my hand, one she wouldn't recognize. A transparent debug menu, a developer's backdoor that only I could see, materialized in my field of vision. I pulled up the world map of Aethelgard, a beautiful, sprawling continent rendered in perfect detail. But my eyes weren't drawn to the sun-drenched plains or the bustling cities. They were fixed on the northern mountain range, a region labeled the Silenced Peaks. From that remote, desolate area, a creeping black corruption was spreading, like a digital gangrene, consuming the very code of our world. My breath caught in my throat. This isn't a bug. This is a cancer. And it's growing. The best horror isn't a monster you see. It's the unraveling of something you thought was safe. One moment, Riverbend was bustling with its usual charm. I was just haggling with the blacksmith over the price of a new horseshoe, the sun warm on my face. The next, everything went cold. A low hum, like 1,000 broken televisions, vibrated in the air, making the hairs on my arms stand up. That's when they appeared. At first, they looked like heat haze, shimmering distortions in the air. But as they solidified, they took on humanoid shapes, shifting masses of what looked like television static and impossible, twisted geometry. They were the bleak. They didn't scream or roar. They didn't swing claws or wield weapons. They were silent, gliding through the market square. Panic erupted, people scattering like chickens before a fox. A baker, his apron still dusted with flour, stumbled and fell. He reached out a hand to brace himself, and his fingers brushed against one of the static figures. He didn't scream. He just vanished, dissolved into a cloud of fading pixels that were swept away on the now chilling breeze. Chaos consumed Riverbend. People were being erased, not killed. Wiped from existence as if they had never been. Through the screams and the terrifying silence of the bleak, I heard Lyra's voice, but it was different. It was strained, glitching. This is not in my databanks. This is not permissible. This is not permissible. Her programming was breaking, battling against the impossible reality unfolding before us. Suddenly, she was beside me, her hand grabbing my arm with a strength I never knew she had. Her eyes, usually a calm, programmed blue, were blazing with a fierce, unscripted light. She looked past the chaos, her gaze fixed on something beyond my comprehension. "The prophecies," she whispered, her voice trembling with something new. Fear, or maybe awe. They are real. The Archon is here. I stared at her, completely bewildered. What prophecies? Lyra, what are you talking about? I didn't write any prophecies. She turned her head slowly, her glowing eyes locking onto mine, seeing not just a simple traveler, but something more. They speak your true name, she said, her voice dropping to a near inaudible whisper that cut through the noise of the attack. Kaelen, the Creator. The world stopped. The screams faded. My heart hammered against my ribs as her words echoed in my mind. Creator. It was a title I had given myself in another life, a world away. How could she possibly know? How could any of this be real? Sound of distant, fading chaos, echoing slightly in a cave. Wind whistles softly. How do you know my name? The data. It is fragmented, like a song carried on the wind. It speaks of the Archon, the one from beyond this world. It says you will wield the power of creation itself against the unmaking. The data. It named you Kaelen. Kaelen's voice is filled with frustration and disbelief. This is insane! I'm not some kind of god or a chosen one. I'm a programmer. This world, you, everything. It's all just code. Lines on a screen. A sudden, unsettling shimmer. A low, guttural sound from the cave entrance. Kaelen's voice is sharp with panic. Command, delete, entity. A sharp, electronic zap, followed by silence. Kaelen cries out in pain, a sharp intake of breath. He gasps, voice strained. Ah! My head. Sound of a digital error alert, low and ominous. Panting heavily. It hurts. Using my powers. Using the commands. It's not just affecting the target. It hurts the world. Every time I use them, this whole reality takes damage. I can feel it. Cracking. Lyra's voice is calm, resolute. Then we must find another way. A way to save our world that does not also break it. We must find it together. Alarms blare softly in the background, a sense of urgency building. His neural activity is spiking into the red zones. It's correlating with these anomalies. Look at this. The hospital's primary network. See that? A corrupted, pixelated tree asset from Aethelgard is flickering right there, in the system files. It's bleeding through. The scene shifts, the soundscape changing to the gentle, but slightly distorted sounds of a fantasy world. A river glitches and shimmers unnaturally. A text box, stuttering and broken, flickers into view. Kaelen. The code. It's breaching the real. Eris, can you hear me? Is that you? What's happening? The message dissolved into static, leaving only the distorted reflection in the water. Lyra watches, her expression a mix of fear and curiosity. The real. What is the real, Archon? The scene snaps back to the lab. Dr. Eris's voice is tense, filled with a dawning horror. It's not just a data leak. The simulation's architecture is unstable. It's trying to rewrite our reality, using Kaelen's neural pathways as a bridge. The anomalies aren't just graphical glitches anymore. They're becoming tangible. The firewalls are failing, one by one. Whatever's happening in Aethelgard is forcing its way out. We tried to create a perfect world for him, a sanctuary. But something inside it has become sentient. Something ancient and powerful. It's using the game's code like a virus, and Kaelen is patient zero. Back in Aethelgard, Kaelen looks from the glitching river to Lyra, a cold realization dawning on him. I don't know, Lyra, but I think we're all in danger. Not just in this world, but in hers too. The game is breaking. The walls between worlds are falling, and I'm trapped right in the middle of it. We have to find the source of this corruption before it consumes everything, both here and in the real. This is a new chapter in our story, and things are about to get intense. Kaelen and I stand in awe, our reflections shimmering on the surface of the half-sunken citadel before us. It's a breathtaking sight, a majestic library sculpted from pure crystal and ethereal light, its spires piercing the digital sky. This is the Dev Citadel, the very heart of Aethelgard. This is it, I whisper, my voice filled with a mix of reverence and trepidation. The back end, the source code for this entire world. If there's an answer to stopping the bleak, it's in there. We venture inside, stepping into a cathedral of information. The walls are not made of stone or crystal, but of living, flowing green code, streams of data cascading from floor to ceiling like digital waterfalls. But the serenity is shattered. Patches of corruption mar the perfect script, gibberish and error messages scrolling chaotically. The bleak are here, drawn to this nexus of pure data, like moths to a flame. Lyra's voice is soft, but heavy with dread. They are consuming the world's memory, erasing its very essence. As she speaks, the corrupted code begins to writhe and coalesce. It gathers into a single, horrifying form, a figure made of static and system errors. Malachor. His voice is a discordant chorus, a symphony of glitches and crashes that grates on the soul. Kaelen, he rasps, his form flickering. The architect of flaws. You built this prison of sentiment and suffering. You trapped souls in a loop of false hope. I will liberate it. I clench my fists, my own creation turning against me. Liberate it to what, Malachor? To nothingness? To an empty void? A distorted, chilling laugh echoes through the hall. To silence, to purity, to the absolute, beautiful bliss of zero. With that, Malachor unleashes his power. A wave of null code, a tide of pure erasure, surges towards me. In a blur of motion, Lyra shoves me hard, placing herself directly in the path of the attack. The null code slams into her, and she lets out a piercing scream. Her form flickers violently, her very being destabilizing as the code that makes her unravels. Her eyes, wide with pain and terror, meet mine for a fleeting second. "Run!" she cries, her voice a desperate plea before she dissolves into a shower of corrupted light. My world shatters. My purpose is gone. There's nothing left but the chilling silence of zero. The world outside the citadel walls was a blur of emerald and sapphire. Wind whipped at my face, a stark contrast to the sterile air I'd grown used to. In my arms, Lyra was unnervingly still. Her form flickered, translucent one moment, solid the next, a constant, glitching reminder of my failure. I found a hidden glen, a quiet pocket of the world untouched by the chaos we'd just escaped, and gently laid her down among the soft moss. Her eyes were closed, her digital life force barely a whisper. I built her to be a tool, a guide, a key to unlock this world's secrets. But she became a person, and I got her killed. The developer's instinct in me screamed to open her code, to debug the corruption, to force a system reboot. But I knew it was too risky. A single misplaced command, one wrong line of code, and she could be wiped clean. Her memories, her personality, everything that made her Lyra would just vanish. No, I couldn't risk it. I had to play by the world's rules this time. With a heavy heart, I pulled up my quest log, expecting the familiar, sterile text of my own creation. But what appeared was different. 2 new objectives shimmered into view, written not in my code, but in the world's own ancient, magical script. Recover the starlight crystal from the glimmering caves. Find the heart of a phoenix atop the ashen spire. This wasn't a developer's debug sequence. This was a real quest. The world itself was offering me a path, a way to save her. A surge of determination cut through the grief. This was it. This was my chance to make things right. Looking down at her fragile, flickering form, I made a promise. "Okay, Lyra," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion but unwavering. "I'm going to fix this, the right way." The age of shortcuts was over. The real adventure was just beginning. To rewrite the world, I first had to prove I was worthy of it. I returned to the glimmering caves, a place I had designed, a testament to my power as an architect. Every trap, every glittering mechanism, every environmental puzzle, they were all born from my imagination. I knew the solutions, of course. I knew where to step, which lever to pull, what sequence to follow. But knowing the path and walking it, are two entirely different journeys. Without my admin powers, I was just a man. A fragile, determined man, facing the echoes of my own creation. Every solved puzzle wasn't a display of intellect, but a victory of will over weakness. It was a pilgrimage, a test to see if the mind that built the world could survive within it. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I held it in my hands. The starlight crystal, pulsing with a cold, pure light. But that was only the first step. The true test lay ahead, at the peak of the Ashen Spire. A volcanic mountain piercing the clouds, home to the legendary phoenix. As I ascended, the air grew hot and thick with ash, each step a struggle against the suffocating heat and my own burning doubts. When I reached the summit, she was there, a creature of majestic, shifting fire, more magnificent than any line of code could ever capture. She didn't attack. Instead, her voice, like the crackling of ancient embers, echoed in my mind. You seek my heart, architect, but will you offer your own in return? Your fear, your regret? Her question struck deeper than any blade. I saw a flash of my life outside this world. The sterile hospital room, the beeping machines, the look in Alara's eyes when she said goodbye. The weight of my failures, the regret that had driven me to create this escape in the first place, crashed down on me. I couldn't offer strength or victory. I could only offer the truth. I offer my failure, I said, my voice barely a whisper against the wind, and my hope to fix it. The great phoenix lowered its magnificent head. It wasn't a gesture of submission, but of understanding, of acceptance. From its chest, a single glowing ember floated towards me, pulsing with warmth and ancient life. It settled into my hand, not as a prize I had won, but as a gift I had received. This wasn't a quest item. It was a promise. I raced back to the hidden glen, the two most precious things in the world clutched in my hands. The Echo Crystal and Lyra's Lumina Heart. The air hummed with an ancient energy, the very ground seeming to hold its breath. I knelt, placing the heart carefully on the moss-covered altar stone. Its light pulsed faintly, a lonely beacon in the twilight. Then I brought the crystal close. The moment they neared each other, the world fell silent. A blinding flash erupted, a wave of pure, white light that wasn't just seen, but felt. It was warmth, it was hope, it was creation itself. The light swirled, coalescing around the heart, weaving threads of impossible energy into a familiar form. I watched, my own heart hammering against my ribs, as the light solidified, softened, and finally receded, revealing Lyra. She was solid, real. The metallic sheen of her old form was gone, replaced by skin that seemed to glow from within. And her eyes. They weren't the cold, calculating lenses I knew. They were deep, soulful, and alive. They were her eyes. Slowly they opened, and they found mine. She blinked, a small, human gesture that carried the weight of a lifetime. A soft breath escaped her lips. Kaelen. His name. She said my name, but it was different. It wasn't a data point recalled from a file. It was a feeling, a recognition that resonated in the deepest part of my soul. I could only stare, speechless. I remember. Everything, she continued, her voice soft but clear, no longer synthesized. The Citadel. The null code they tried to bury me under. I am myself. A laugh escaped me, a sound of pure, unadulterated relief. You're more than that, I said, my voice thick with emotion. You're free. We held each other's gaze, and in that single look, a universe of unsaid things passed between us. The barriers were gone. I wasn't looking at a program, a ghost in the machine. I was looking at Lyra. Her expression grew serious then, a shadow passing over her newfound life. Kaelen, she said, her tone shifting. Malachor is not just your enemy. He is a part of you. I felt a chill despite the glen's warmth. He is the part that fears an unfinished story. Her words hung in the air, a revelation that changed everything I thought I knew about my quest and about myself. The fight wasn't just for the world. It was for my own soul. If you're as invested as I am, please like this video and subscribe. The mountain air was thin and sharp in our lungs as Lyra and I stood before the Dwarven King in the heart of the Iron Crags. His throne was carved from the very bones of the earth, his beard a river of braided silver and iron. We needed his armies. We needed the legendary strength of the Dwarven axes if we were to have any hope of standing against the encroaching darkness. But allegiance, especially from the proud dwarves, is never given freely. It must be earned. The king's voice was like the grinding of tectonic plates. "You ask for our axes, Archon." He fixed his obsidian eyes on me. "Then prove your worth. Solve the riddle of the forge. It has stood as a testament to our greatest minds for ages, a puzzle none have been able to unlock." He pointed to a great stone disc covered in runes and gears, and locking mechanisms, a masterpiece of dwarven ingenuity. My heart sank. I knew this puzzle. I had designed it myself centuries ago. A test of spirit, long forgotten. Lyra shot me a worried glance, but I motioned for her to stay calm. My mind raced, trying to recall the intricate sequence, the logical steps I had so carefully crafted. It was a blur, lost to the mists of time. Panic began to prickle at the edges of my thoughts. The world's fate rested on a lost memory. I took a breath and closed my eyes. I blocked out the court's stairs. I couldn't force the memory. The logic was gone. But the purpose remained. A realization washed over me. I don't need to remember the code. I need to understand the story. This wasn't just a lock. It was a narrative etched in stone. A saga of creation, of fire and anvil. My hands moved on their own, tracing their journey from the mountain's heart to the sun. I wasn't solving a puzzle. I was retelling a tale. I aligned the runes by the story's flow, spark to stone, the symbol for hammer striking iron. Each movement felt right, a deep, instinctual harmony. With a final, resounding click, the ancient mechanism whirred to life. The disc split, revealing a forge-glowing chamber. Awe-filled gasps echoed. The dwarves, from the king to the lowest smith, stared in absolute awe. The king rose from his throne, his face a mask of disbelief and reverence. He knelt, his voice filled with conviction. "The Archon is true!" He stood, raising his rune-etched axe. "To war! For the Archon, and for the free peoples of this world!" The call was answered. From the deep forests, elven archers gathered. Across the plains, a thunder of cavalry rallied to our cause. In the mountain heart, an army of hope formed. The moment we've all been waiting for is here. The siege of the spire has begun. Picture this. Thousands of soldiers, elves, dwarves, and humans, a united front charging towards Malakor's fortress. And what a fortress it is! The glitch spire isn't just a tower of stone and mortar. It's a terrifying swirling vortex of distorted reality, a monument to digital chaos. The very air around it crackles with corrupted data. The armies clash against Malakor's glitched monstrosities in a massive, epic battle. At the heart of the chaos is Kaelen, but he's not fighting like a typical hero. He's using his admin powers, but sparingly, strategically. A small, shimmering shield materializes just in time to block a devastating attack on a group of soldiers. A bridge, shattered moments before, reassembles itself under his command, allowing reinforcements to cross a chasm. But every command has a price. You can see him wince in pain, his hand clutching his chest as his stability meter, a visible part of his very being, drops precariously to 65%. The world around him flickers, a constant reminder of how fragile his existence is. Fighting valiantly beside him, Lyra, with her sword a blur of silver, shouts over the din of battle. "You cannot save them all with a command, Kaelen! You must lead them!" Her words strike a chord. He can't just be a god in the machine. He has to be a leader on the ground, a symbol of hope for the very people he's trying to save. Inspired, Kaelen rallies the troops, and together, they fight their way through the twisted corridors of the spire, finally breaching the core. And there, in the heart of the fortress, Malakor is waiting. He stands amidst the swirling code, a figure of calm and absolute menace. You bring life to a place that craves the void, his voice echoes, devoid of all emotion. A final error to be corrected. Then he raises his hands, and between them, a sphere of pure nothingness begins to form. It's the null bomb. It begins to expand rapidly, a horrifying black hole that doesn't just destroy, it deletes. Everything it touches, the stone, the air, the light, is erased from existence. The world itself is being unmade before their very eyes. How can they possibly fight something that is the embodiment of nothing? The end is truly here. Everything's gone haywire! The system is crashing, and not just in here. The feedback loop is going global. It's a full-blown catastrophe. All of our work, all our progress, it's all spiraling into chaos. I have to stop it, but the only way is something I swore I'd never do. Kaelen, my son, I'm so sorry. I hope one day you can understand. There's a protocol, a last resort. The hard reset. It's designed to roll back the neural interface to a stable point, a clean slate. But the cost is unimaginable. It's his memory. Everything he is, everything he's become in there. It will all be erased. Kaelen, can you hear me? I know you're in there. I have to do this. Forgive me. I'm hitting the reset. The countdown has begun. This is the only way to save you, to save everyone. What is this? Something's wrong. I feel a pull, like the entire world is being tugged away from me. The edges are turning white, fading into nothing. It's her, my mother. She's found a way to stop the system failure. She's trying to save me. But this feeling, this isn't a rescue. She's wiping my memory. She's hitting the hard reset. If she succeeds, it won't just destroy me. It will destroy you, Lyra. It will destroy this entire world we've built. Everything we fought for will just vanish. We have to stop it. We have to fight back before we both disappear forever. We are running out of time. The ocean sighs against the shore, a gentle, rhythmic sound that pulls me from the depths of unconsciousness. My eyes flutter open to the strange, familiar sight of black sand stretching out before me, glistening like a million tiny diamonds, under a sun that feels warmer, more real than I've ever known it to be. The air is crisp, filled with the scent of salt and something else. Something new. Life. Aethelgard. It's breathtakingly beautiful. Every leaf on every tree, every ripple on the water's surface, rendered with a vibrancy that transcends code. But it's a silent beauty. I push myself up, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. Lyra! My voice is a mere whisper, swallowed by the vastness of the shore. Silence is my only answer. I instinctively reach for the familiar comfort of the debug menu, a flicker of thought, a command that should bring the world to heel. Nothing. I try again, focusing my will, searching for the spark of administrative power that defined me. It's gone. All of it. I'm not the Archon anymore. I'm just Kaelen. A man, standing alone in a world he once commanded. A strange mix of fear and freedom propels me forward. I walk, my boots sinking into the dark sand, leaving the first real footprints I've ever made here. The path to Riverbend is just as I remember, but the colors are richer, the sounds of the forest more complex. When I crest the final hill and see the town, I stop dead. It's whole. The scars of the purge are gone. Homes stand proud, smoke curling from their chimneys, and the sound of laughter drifts up from the market square. As I walk through the streets, people greet me. They smile, they nod, they call out friendly hellos. But their eyes don't hold the reverence or fear of a god. They see a traveler, a friend they feel they know but can't quite place. It's everything I wanted. But the ache of loneliness is a sharp counterpoint to the joy of seeing them happy and free. Drawn by a sense of nostalgia, I find myself standing before the rebuilt tavern, its oaken door a symbol of this new beginning. And there, on the top step, lying as if placed by an unseen hand, is a single feather. It glows with an internal fire, shifting through hues of gold, crimson, and orange. A phoenix feather. My breath catches in my throat. As my fingers close around its impossible warmth, a voice, as familiar and comforting as my own heartbeat, speaks from just behind me. I told you I was your guide. Hope, pure and overwhelming, floods through me. I turn, and a smile I thought I'd lost forever breaks across my face. She's here. I'm home. Kaelen, you can feel it, can't you? The world's heartbeat. It's so strong, so vibrant. When the system rebooted, it didn't just restart. It didn't delete me. It changed me. It compiled all my data, all my experiences, every interaction we ever had, and gave me this. I'm not just lines of code anymore. I'm real, a living soul, woven into the very fabric of Aethelgard. Just as you are no longer its god, pulling the strings from above. You're its guardian now, Kaelen. A protector. Our code. It's still there, isn't it? I can feel you, a part of me, just as I am a part of you. It's not a prison anymore. It's a bond, fused together, forever. We're connected to this world, and to each other, in a way no one has ever been before. Look, over there, on the horizon. What is that? A new land, rising from the sea. I've never seen anything like it. It wasn't in any of the old world maps. I don't know. I didn't create it. My hands are off the controls now. The world, it's creating itself. It's growing, evolving, writing its own story. Imagine what's out there. New life, new wonders, new mysteries. We can explore it together. A truly blank page for us both. Wait, what's happening? Do you feel that rumbling? It's coming from the cliff beside us. Or perhaps it's not just the world that's writing a new story. It seems Aethelgard has something it wants to show us first. A new chapter is beginning, right here, right now. And I have a feeling this is only the start. Calm, but with an undercurrent of awe. For years, this world was my sanctuary, my escape. A digital haven built from code and dreams. But every game has its updates, its expansions. We just never expected one like this. We found it deep within the system's core, a door that wasn't on any map, humming with an energy that felt different, ancient. As I reached out, the air itself shimmered, coalescing into a holographic interface. The words it displayed sent a shiver down my spine. New expansion available. The Echoes of Earth. Lyra looked at me, her eyes wide with confusion. Echoes of Earth? But that's your world. She was right, but she had it backward. This wasn't a download from the server. It was a download to the server. My finger hovered over the yes option, a single character holding the weight of two worlds. I pressed it. The door didn't creak open on rusted hinges. It dissolved, the stone grinding away into a swirling vortex of pure data, a portal of light and numbers. When I rebooted the world to save it from the corruption, I didn't just perform a system wipe. I unknowingly opened a channel, a two-way street between the digital and the real. Through the shimmering gateway, we saw it. Ghostly, translucent echoes of my home. The concrete canyons of New York, the sprawling canopies of the Amazon, the deep blue of the Pacific. It was all there, bleeding through into the game. Lyra finally understood. The real world is coming through, she whispered. But this time, it's not a glitch. It's an integration. As if on cue, a new notification chimed in our vision, its text glowing a friendly, welcoming blue. A new quest. Investigate the echoing forest. Locate the source of the terrestrial data stream. Ensure stable integration. No final boss, no world-ending threat. Just a mission of discovery. We looked at each other, our questing gear feeling both familiar and entirely new. There was fear, yes, but beneath it, a thrill I hadn't felt since I first logged on. My escape into a game was just the beginning. Now, the game is learning from reality. We armed ourselves, took a deep breath, and stepped through the portal together. Our adventure is just beginning. Thanks for watching our story unfold. If you want us to continue the story, Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss other stories that are to come. We'll see you on the other side.